Hi, it's Karl Greenwood here at the Centre of Horseback Combat, and I'd like to talk about the balance between confidence and adrenaline. Now, confidence says it's not coming into the room until adrenaline leaves, and adrenaline says, I'm not leaving until confidence arrives. Who's going to give in first? Because one of them has to. So, I've drawn here a picture of the brain. It's not anatomically correct or indeed to scale, but a brain it is nonetheless. Here is the primitive brain. This is where your fear responses reside. This is where you get anxiety, anger, depression, all in here. There we are. They're emergency survival drills. Here is your cerebral cortex, your intellectual brain. This is where logic, reason, language and imagination lives. Here at the front is you, your idea of you, like the boss of the building in its office. There we are. Now, your confidence lives here, obviously, and your responses of adrenaline live here. They're on a seesaw. Let me introduce these seesaws over here. So, when you're in a blind panic, doing absolutely anything, your intellectual brain has been suppressed by the emergency of the moment and you're just doing anything. Your primitive brain is up and your intellectual brain is suppressed. Simple survival strategy. If a polar bear was to come through that door now, I wouldn't feel all intellectual about it and go, oh, polar bear, that's unusual in Hertfordshire at this time of year. It must have escaped from a circus. I wonder if it's been trained. I'll just tell it to sit. Sit! Oh no, that's not a good idea at all. Instead, polar bear comes in, wait, primitive brain goes up, intellectual brain goes down, we're off. There we are. Alternatively, when your intellectual brain is at the fore, your primitive brain is suppressed. This is when you're in the zone, you're about to complete a project, and other problems that are trying to thwart you from completing that project, problems that on other days would have left you overwhelmed, because you're in the zone, you're batting them away like a superhero. Email this, delegate that, phone this, anticipate that. There we are. So they're on a seesaw. Now, when we're in a dangerous situation, the primitive brain comes to the fore, the intellectual brain is suppressed. But at the end of the day, this is a problem-solving factory with a boss. And like any boss, the boss is in charge. Ultimately, the boss is in charge of the factory floor, and the boss is in charge of the health and safety officer and the emergency drills. This is manifest if, for example, whilst running away from the polar bear, you noticed that a baby had crawled away across and was now in the path of the polar bear. You'd stop, turn around and do whatever you could to save the baby. This is where bravery comes from. You can ultimately override this primitive and intellectual suppression if the boss says so. You see this when you're driving down the motorway and you've got to come off to a busy junction and there's a million lanes and a million lorries and a million different things to have to see, the traffic lights, the signs, the gap in the roundabout for your car, whether there's cars behind you. You still feel the adrenaline. You don't go floating across the roundabout going in a cloud of confidence, going, it's all right, the universe is looking after me. You feel the adrenaline, you feel the arousal, and you take steps to make sure that your awareness is such that you can anticipate problems, deal with it, despite the adrenaline, and get across the roundabout and see your mum. You're fully confident that you can get across that roundabout and go and see your mum, despite the adrenaline, because ultimately you had to be. Ultimately, the boss is in charge. So the answer is, confidence comes into the room, and then with practice, you become more and more confident, and adrenaline can sling his hook. I'm Karl Greenwood at the Centre of Horseback Combat. Thanks for listening! I really like doing these little weekly videos. I hope you found them useful. I'm in the process of compiling a book and launching an online platform to explore these ideas in more detail. So I need your advice now. What content do you want to see? And I'll make sure that it gets into the platform and into the book before I launch it. These little videos will keep coming out and they'll always be free. So write below in the comments section what you'd like to see contained in the book and the online platform, and I'll make sure that it's in there. Thanks for listening, and thanks for your help.